to Lesson 11, Interpreting Graphs of Proportional Relationships. I can draw a graph of a proportional relationship given a single point on a graph other than the origin. I can find the constant of proportionality from the graph, and I can understand the information given by graphs of a proportional relationship that are made up of points on a line. So, what could this graph represent? You need to invent a situation, label your axes, and give a title to the graph. So the first thing I need to do is identify the point that's on the graph. So it's 1612. So I've got to think of something that would work for this point. Are there any other points that I could grab off the graph? All right. So this is just kind of reminding me of a problem we did a couple weeks ago. So I'm going to go with flour, and let's go with cinnamon, and let's go with cinnamon rolls. So what does the point on the graph represent? So 12 cups of flour for 16 tablespoons of cinnamon. You could have done anything, and I need to label my units of measure. All right, Tyler was at an amusement park. He walked at a steady pace from the ticket booth to the bumper cars. So he started at 0, 0. Then in 20 seconds, he was 25 feet. So 20 seconds. Then at 30 seconds, he was 37.5. That one's a hard one to graph because it's between. But 40 to 50 isn't. Okay, so they want to know what 1 is. Okay, so I know that to get from 20 to 1, I'm going to divide by 20. So I'm going to divide by 20 on this side. So that's going to leave me with 1.25. So in 1 second, he's 1.25 meters. So the point on the graph shows the arrival at the bumper cars. What do the coordinates of the point tell us about the situation? Well, I know, so he's arrived, so that means, I'll type it to make it easier to read. The bumper cars are 50 meters from the ticket booth. And it took Tyler 40 seconds to walk there. There we go. All right, so I know that the distance from the ticket booth because it tells me that right here. It also tells me that he's arrived at the bumper cars, so that's how I know what this point represents. So then it says complete the table and plot the values on the grid. Well, we kind of already did that in the last slide. So we know this is 1.25. We know this is 0. We knew that we could do 20, 25. We know we could do 40, 50. All right, so what does the 0.00 mean in this situation? Well, it means that Tyler is at the ticket booth, but has not started walking. How far from the ticket booth was Tyler after 1 second? 1.25 meters. What is the constant of proportionality for the relationship between time and distance? 1.25 meters is equal to 1 second. What does it tell you about Tyler's walk? Where do you see it in the graph? He goes 1.25 meters. Every second. And I really should change goes to walks. Because you want to be as precise as you can be. So now it says seagulls eat what? 4 seagulls ate 10 pounds of garbage. So 4 seagulls ate 10 pounds of garbage. Assume that this information describes a proportional relationship. So that means it has to go through the origin. Plot a point that shows the number of seagulls and the amount of garbage they ate. Draw a line. I need to fix that. Through the point 0, plot the point 1K on the line. Okay, so for this one, because it's so tight, what we're going to call slope eventually is so tight, I'm going to use an actual tool. I'm going to use a line so that I can make sure I get the right angle. All right, so there we go. So then they want to know what 1K would be. Well, I know that, oops, I forgot I don't have my drawing tool on. If I have seagulls, and I know that that's, oh, guys, I'm sorry. And I know that that's the first one because that's my x-axis. So seagulls and garbage. So that's 4 and 10. So if I want to figure out what 1 is, I have to go divide by 4, divide by 4, so it's 2.5. So that means that 1 seagull ate 2.5 pounds of garbage. So if I was going to plot that on the graph, it would be right there. And my line actually goes through that point. Practice problem 2. The graph shows the amount of almonds in grams for different amounts of oats in cups in granola mix. Label the point 1K on the graph. Well, see, if you look at it, and I'm going to zoom in, I don't know what that line is. I have to find one that goes through the crosshair. When I talk about the crosshair, I mean it goes through the corner of 2 boxes. So there's one. Oh wait, let me look at that again. Yeah. There's one. And then if I look, I don't see another one that goes perfectly through it. So I have to pull that point off the graph. So we're going to go with oats because that's on the x-axis and almonds because that's on the y-axis. I'm going to plot the point that I know. So it's 2 cups of oats for 50 grams of almonds. So they want to know what the value of 1K is. So 1 cup of oats. So I'm going to divide by 2. Divide by 2 and I get 25. So what is the value of K? 25 grams of almonds is used for 1 cup of oats. So 25 grams of almonds is used for 1 cup of oats. And I can see that right there on the graph. All right, so your cool down, that's your image. Remember that your x-axis is time and your y-axis is water in gallons. So I want you to go in and look at the question. We've been writing on our graphs, so I expect to see you writing on your graph. Final directions, just submit it. If you don't understand, go on to Khan Academy for some extra practice. You can watch Mr. Morgan. He does these same questions. You can watch him do it. You can email a study buddy, or you can set up an appointment on Calendly for me.